U.S. attorney to have a look for anything he could find that backed up some allegations that were coming in. They were flooding in, actually, in 2020 about Joe Biden and bribery. And Scott Brady got his team to look at it.
Tom Connors here. How can I help you, sir?
Passed it on to David Weiss, and yet the IRS
I'll send one of our best drivers right away.
The FBI criminal investigators never saw it. So that's, the scandal of the influence peddling scheme that Joe Biden has conducted during his vice presidency through his family that netted millions of dollars from China and Ukraine and Russia and so on. That's a big scandal. But I think even bigger than Watergate, is the cover-up.
Yes, that's right. And that scandal has two different forms. There's the cover-up by the FBI and federal agencies, and then there's the cover-up by the media. I mean, it's absolutely stunning to me that every day we get another piece to this puzzle, and the mainstream media will not report it. There was absolutely no conversation whatsoever at all yesterday on
There's a vehicle en route.
Their big nightly show, and nothing on Good Morning America, their big morning show, about the hearings yesterday.
Yeah, and the New York Times has not covered this bombshell from Chuck Grassley, this FD 1023. You can couch it with all sorts of careful caveats about how it's just allegations, but these allegations fit with the pattern that we've heard from, whether it's the laptop or Hunter Biden's former business partners like Tony Bobolinsky or the IRS whistleblowers who had separate iCloud information that they brought down from Hunter Biden's material, including that WhatsApp message that you mentioned where he says he's sitting with his father. There's just so much smoke. And one of the big lies that the media, the Washington Post, persists with this is that the prosecutor in Ukraine who was fired on Joe Biden's very urgent threats, he was actually aggressively investigating Burisma, the company that was paying Hunter Biden $1 million a year. At the time that he was fired, he had just issued a warrant to seize all the property belonging to Zlochevsky, and they try and cloud that and say that's not true. But, the proof of the pudding is that once Shokin was fired, his successor never did anything about Burisma and Zlochevsky, and they were just let off the hook. So there's definitely something fishy going on.
For sure. The House Judiciary Committee released testimony also this week confirming that the FBI told Twitter that Hunter Biden's laptop was real on the very same day that the New York Post published the infamous story about it leading up to the 2020 election, Miranda. They knew on that day, and yet they all attacked the New York Post, and they attacked Fox for reporting these things.
Yeah. Well, it's really appalling. Around the laptop, the censorship and the lies that were told, which was the FBI that went into the social media companies and were pre-bunking our story. They were seeding mistrust so that when Facebook and Twitter and so on saw our story on the morning of October 14, 2020, they immediately knew that this was what the FBI had been warning them about. And then you had the CIA, 5 former CIA directors, 51 former intelligence officials, mostly from the CIA, wrote that dishonest letter saying that it was all Russian disinformation. And we now know that they were coerced to write that, or Mike Morell, the former CIA director, was coerced to write that by the Biden campaign. He got a phone call from Antony Blinken, who at that stage was a senior advisor in the campaign, now Secretary of State. And Morell testified he never would have thought of getting that letter written and signed by all those officials unless Antony Blinken had triggered him to do so and sent him a ridiculous article from USA Today saying that the laptop and our stories were Russian disinformation. And now we also know that there was a serving CIA employee who was soliciting signatures, or at least one signature there. So rotten to the core these institutions, and there really has to be a big clean out. And remember, a lot of this cover-up was happening while Donald Trump was president. He was being hoodwinked and tricked by his own even appointees, perhaps, and certainly by the deep state, by the bureaucrats there. They were actively working against the sitting democratically elected president.
And we see a similar situation right now in the face of all of this coming out. The 1023 released yesterday so that the American people can see it. Donald Trump is about to get indicted for the third time. And I'm glad you mentioned the 51 spies who lied, Miranda, because let's just underline this for a second. On that very day that the 51 spies who lied came out with that letter and signed on the bottom line that this could very well be Russian disinformation, a sitting director of national intelligence, he was actually in the job, John Ratcliffe, came on this program, on this program and said, this is not Russian disinformation. We did not give this to the intelligence community and tell them it was Russian disinformation because it's not Russian disinformation. The very same day, they come out and they sign this letter. And they're talking about all of these spies who are so important, who have these great resumes, and they completely ignore the sitting director of national intelligence on this program. Listen to this. This is what John Ratcliffe told us on that very day. Watch.
This is not part of some Russian disinformation campaign. The intelligence community has not been involved with Hunter Biden's laptop. Hunter Biden is a U.S. person, and he would be subject to any investigation regarding fraud or corruption would be rightfully the jurisdiction of the FBI. So the FBI has had possession of this.
Can you imagine? He said this on this day. Later that day, they come out and they completely ignore the sitting director of intelligence, and they go with John Brennan and James Clapper and Leon Panetta and the rest.
Yeah, and Adam Schiff was fanning out everywhere saying that it was the Kremlin plot. And of course, those were the lines that Joe Biden used a few days later in the final debate against Donald Trump to basically, it was a get-out-of-jail-free card for Joe Biden, because this was, our reporting on the laptop was a serious crisis within his campaign. He went to ground. He wouldn't answer any questions. They were lying to everybody.
Once again, there's no way possible Joe Biden could have got 80 fucking million votes from his basement.
That Joe Biden knew nothing about his son Hunter's overseas business dealings. And then, of course, the CIA, these former high-ranking directors who should have been stripped of their security clearances immediately. The FBI knew that that was Hunter Biden's laptop because they'd had it since December 2019.
And that's called election tampering with.
They had ascertained that it was Hunter Biden's laptop as early as November of 2019 because they just checked the serial number that they were given by the MacBook repair shop guy against Hunter Biden's iCloud account. And by February of 2020, they had done a full forensic on it, and they had said it was credible, usable evidence in any legal case, and yet the laptop was never given to those investigators in Delaware. They got bits and pieces from it, and they asked for the whole thing. They were never allowed to. There was so much protection of the Bidens going on, and it's really inexplicable that these people would corrupt themselves on behalf of a president who has got very questionable ethics.
Yes, for sure. Miranda, thank you very much. Miranda.
I say it again, man. When you think about all the corrupt bullshit that we going through dealing with these fucking criminals, it's time for us to hold motherfuckers accountable for all the bullshit. That's what I'm trying to say. It just don't make no sense.
I fly for the LSP, but I don't like cops. No, I don't.
couple of people has gone bad. Welcome to Legal Aid Before, the law firm unlike no other, because the truth is a need to know. I want you to think about Legal Aid Before as a law firm that's dealing with before was all the bullshit that don't make no sense. It was the truth that always made sense. Literally just like the plus sign. 2 is always better than 1 when you know the one that put it all together in the first place. To know that you don't have to fucking race. To know that the race is one already ready within you. The creator within the creation. The truth is you. You just need to know what you do 24/7. Meaning that you need to be thinking, literally thanking the creator for being able to think at all. I'm just saying. The truth makes sense for true change. Especially when you go back to using common sense. Shit will change. And that's what Legal Aid Before is going to do, being a law firm. We're going to check these legal line lawyers that most of the time become judges. It's time to start holding the liars accountable for being just that, a bunch of fucking liars. It's time for to hold them accountable for being liars, because if you don't fire them, they're going to keep on lying. Fuck this impeach bullshit, these using all these big old fucked up ass words. Fuck them being impeached, they need to be fired because of them lying, using all type of fucked up words to cover up all the bullshit that they do basically every motherfucking day. When they basically lying to me and you all day, every fucking day. We have legal lying lawyers running our fucking business. I'm just asking the question to you so you can think for a change. How can you expect for a legal lying lawyer to run your business like your business need to be ran when legal lying lawyers never ran a damn thing but their mouth? I'm just saying. They ain't never ran no type of corporation. All they do is legally litigate on shit. So it's time to start holding these fucking liars accountable for being just that. A bunch of fucking lying fucking criminals. And the facts are the facts. And the facts are them. It's just that we gotta wake the fuck up from the motherfucking fairy tale bullshit and show how much we really do care about the truth that makes sense. Like I said before, it's time for a fucking change. It's time to get back into the need to know. And the need to know is to be thinking 24/7, is to be using common senses, that is the creator within the creation. You're never alone. Brown men and women, women and men. I'm so disappointed in you. Born a winner, 100%. You're supposed to know the truth in order to do better. You need to know better.